The movies Conan the Barbarian and The Terminator brought Arnold Schwarzenegger to the world's attention, but it was Commando which cemented his status as an action hero. I'm Stephen Archibald, and welcome to my movie podcast.
They hunted him down.
You know, Colonel, we went to a lot of trouble to find you.
They murdered his friends. And they took the only thing he would kill for.
If he wants your kid back, then you gotta cooperate. Right? Wrong.
Now, somewhere, somehow, someone's gonna pay.
Hello to you, and welcome to my movie podcast. They Came From Within, Cult Movie Reviews. Not without my daughter, Commando, 1985. Let me just start by saying, I love this movie a lot. It may be as mad as a box of frogs, but it also serves as a great example of how to make an exhilarating action movie, and it being replete with terrific one-liners only adds to its charm. Arnold Schwarzenegger stars as John Matrix, a retired United States Army Special Forces colonel. John gets informed by his former boss, Major General Franklin Kirby, that his old unit has been wiped out by mercenaries. And then Matrix's daughter Jenny is kidnapped on the orders of Arius, a former South American dictator who wants to use him in a scheme to regain control of his country. Well aware that Arius will kill his daughter anyway, Matrix decides to battle with him and his forces head on, and many bad dudes will perish in spectacularly violent ways before the end credits roll. You may find this hard to imagine, but when the script was first written by Joseph Loeb, he had Gene Simmons in mind to play the main protagonist. Now, I must admit that the frontman of the rock band Kiss displayed an imposing screen presence in the 1984 Tom Selleck vehicle Runaway, but I just can't see him convincingly fronting this action classic. The filmmakers must have thought this also, seeing as they turned their focus to the more suitable Nick Nolte. But when nothing came of it, they zoomed in on the Austrian Man Mountain himself, Stephen E. D'Souza, who coincidentally had co-written the screenplay for the Nick Nolte movie 48 Hours, was brought in to rewrite the script to fit Arnold's screen persona. D'Souza would go on to co-write Die Hard, Die Hard 2 and Judge Dredd. Funnily enough, John McTiernan, who directed Die Hard and Die Hard with a Vengeance, turned down the chance to helm this film. He would of course work with Arnie on both Predator and Last Action Hero. The list of the youngsters who auditioned for the part of John's daughter Jenny is quite impressive. It included Jennifer Connelly, Winona Ryder, Patricia Arquette, Elizabeth Shue, and Shannon Doherty. The role went to Miss Doherty's future co-star on Charmed, Elisa Milano. Elisa, who had just completed filming the first series of Who's the Boss, was only 12 when she got the part. Commando was directed by Mark L. Lester. I remember liking his 1977 movie Stunts, which starred Robert Forster and Joanna Cassidy. I've yet to have the pleasure of seeing his Roller Boogie from 1979, but I do know I also like his movies Class of 1984 from 1982 and Firestarter from 1984. Lester would go on to make Class of 1999 in 1990 and Showdown in Little Tokyo in 1991, which featured Brandon Lee's screen debut in an American movie. This movie's chief villain, Arius, is played by Dan Hedaya, a quality character actor who's either cast in the role of a despicable villain or as a smartass in something more lightweight. His screen credits include Buckaroo Banzai, Tightrope, Blood Simple, and Clueless. But let's be honest here, as good as Dan is in Commando, he's not the most memorable baddie in it. This honour goes to the Australian actor Vernon Wells.
Do you think that he is going to give us any problems?
He'll do exactly as he's told.
Hasta luego, fellas.
You're a funny guy, Sully. That's why I'm going to kill you last.
Are you gonna tell me what's going on or what?
No. Don't disturb my friend. He's dead tired.
Vernon was terrific as Wes, the mohawked henchman in Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior, from 1982, and he's equally delightful here as the vicious mercenary, Captain Bennett. Although Lester and Wells himself have insisted that the character's not supposed to be gay, Bennett's flamboyant dress sense and behaviour are entertainingly camp, and there's something in the way he says, "I want you, Matrix." In fact, Wells is quoted as saying, "People now refer to Bennett as Freddie Mercury on steroids." But to return to the realistically testosterone side of things, Arnie and Vernon's climactic punch-up was genuinely full-on. Schwarzenegger chipped a bone in his shoulder, and Wells dislocated his elbow. Ouch. John Matrix is aided in his activities by an innocent flight attendant called Cindy. She's played by the lovely Rae Dawn Chong, best known at this stage for appearing in Quest for Fire, Beach Street, and The Colour Purple. Ray's father's the popular comedian Tommy Chong, and she was briefly married to the actor C. Thomas Howell, best known for starring in the brilliant film The Hitcher. Another fine actor worth mentioning is Bill Duke. He portrays an ex-Green Beret called Cook, who has an epic fight with Matrix fairly on in the picture. The two men would work together again, on the same side, in Predator. Returning to the role of Captain Bennett for a moment, even though I can't imagine anyone else but Vernon Wells in the part, this role was originally filled by the American actor Wings Hauser. However, Hauser got himself fired on the first day. His loss proving to be our gain. Those of us who adore Commando's over-the-top violent excesses have the director to thank. Mark L. Lester had the opportunity to watch a preview of Sylvester Stallone's Rambo First Blood Part 2. The original Commando script only had a modest number of killings, but after seeing Stallone's Blood and Thunder movie, Lester insisted that there should be more slayings in his one. Incidentally, Rambo First Blood Part 2 was co-written by James Cameron, who directed Arnie in The Terminator the year before. The effective, rapid-fire editing on these two titles is largely down to the fact that Mark Goldblatt worked on both of them. Schwarzenegger and Wells have remained friends since this movie was made. If Arnie would have gone through with taking the lead role in Stuart Gordon's sci-fi prison tale Fortress, he would have got to work with Vernon again. In the movie, Wells plays a prison yob called Maddox. Commando was mostly shot around various Californian locations. Filming took place between the 22nd of April and the 6th of June 1985, and the movie was released in the States on the 4th of October that year. It made $57.5 million at the box office from a budget of $9 million. Should this action classic still be celebrated, All I can say is, let's party. I'm Stephen Archibald, and thank you very much for listening to my podcast, They Came From Within, Cult Movie Reviews. You can find all of my podcasts from most podcast hosts. Take care of yourself, and goodbye for now.
Remember, Sally, when I promised to kill you last?
That's what made you did.
I lied.
If it's a mission no man can survive, he's the man for the job. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Commando.
Let's party.